All right, my friends. We just pressed the Let's Go Live button, which means we've got to wait for the stream to fire up all across the fruited plain of the interwebs before we go ahead and get started. Got to make sure those tubes are working on this very special day. And it looks like they have connected themselves. That's tremendous news. That means we can go ahead and get started. So let's do it, shall we? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to yet another episode of Watching the Watchers Live, the show that spotlights misconduct involving police, prosecutors, and politicians. My name is Robert Gouveia. I am a criminal defense attorney. And today, on this incredible Independence Day, July 4th holiday, we hope your holiday is off to an incredible start, and you're celebrating America, getting ready to enjoy however it is you're enjoying, hopefully with something delicious and with the people that you love. Today, we've got some serious White House panic that we're going to unpack. The courts are a little bit quiet out there. Dockets have little activity. But we've got a lot of concern from a bunch of the usual suspects there in Washington, D.C. And so we're going to talk about it because we've been listening to Karine over the last few days try to paper over the debate debacle where demented Joe Biden came out and confirmed to all of us, we've already known this for some time, but confirmed, I guess, to the rest of the country and the world, that Joe, not all there. And there was a lot of back and forth with the media and Karine on this because they wanted the details. They said, hey, Karine, can you just give us a little bit more here? What actually happened? And one big question that came out was, did something go wrong with Joe Biden? Did something misfire in his brain? Was he sick? We've heard a bunch of different excuses for this. Jet lag. He was tired. He had a cold. But no one ever came out and said, well, he's totally incompetent, at least officially from the White House. And so someone asked him, this woman named MJ Lee, they said, hey, Karine, did Joe get a checkup after that debate? Like, did someone go check to make sure he didn't have a stroke or something? Anybody look at him, honestly? And Karine said no. Karine said no. I checked with that. I checked on it. No, that did not happen. Well, guess what? It did. Eli said that there was news, that there was a checkup, and he is fine. So now the media is noticing that they're getting lied to from the White House. And this is very curious. They're still going to vote for him because they can't help themselves. And so we'll talk about this. You see, we've got a clip from Fauci. They brought out the science guy, the medical doctor, and he is going to tell us why Joe Biden is perfectly fine, why everything that happened is just A-okay, and you should probably also buy his book. So they'll just continue the big lie, as they've continued all of the other lies. And for some reason, the media has a difficult time answering the question. If they lied to you about Joe's dementia and his capacity, what else did they lie to you about? And if you're willing to admit that, are you also willing to admit they lied about everything else, like maybe what happened with the pandemic in some regards, and what happened with the border, and everything else, like inflation and January 6th and the trustworthiness of all the criminal prosecutions against Trump and so on and so forth? It's just a big fat lie factory, and hopefully they're waking up, but I doubt it. Now, they know that there is a clock that is ticking away for them. They have to show that Joe Biden is competent to regain their credibility. And so they've got this interview that's going to be dropping tomorrow at some point, and the questions about how this interview will be comported are coming soon. And we're going to ask ourselves, is it going to be live? No. Is it going to be unedited? No. Are we going to have one camera angle with zero cuts? No. It's all going to be papered over. The question is, what is George Stephanopolous going to do? Is he going to cover up for the Democrats like a good old boy, like he always does? Or is he going to try to take Joe Biden out so he can slot in someone else in there? Either way, he'll be doing the bidding of the Democrats. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But Karine got asked about this again. Hey, does Joe know this is kind of like do or die for him? He better, oh gosh, that's a bad one. It's do or die for Joe. I mean, literally. I mean, oh no. But it's crunch time for him. And he is going to have to figure it out. Karine got asked about it. We'll see what she says. Joe Biden said, no one is pushing me out, okay? I'm not going away. I'm sticking around. And emails came out. Our friend ALX on X posted about it, said that Joe promises to continue, and we got two confirmations on that, one from Joe's campaign and one from Kamala. Governors were also there at the White House. Remember, there was some kerfuffle back and forth yesterday with Jake Tapper, where Tapper was saying that there was no meeting with the Republicans, that Biden was just kind of ignoring everybody, and they were getting a little hissy about it. Well, turns out they showed up at the White House. They came back out. They said, Joe Biden's just amazing. He's spunky. He's spry. And he will continue on. So we'll see what some of the governors said. And good news, Hunter Biden's in charge. You see, there he is, tucked away at the White House, keeping his eye on Daddy to make sure that he doesn't screw up. All right. Now, we've got some other reaction. Representative Dingell says one interview with fake George Stephanopolous ain't going to cut it. And Senator Ted Kennedy came out, and he did not Ted Kennedy, sorry, Kennedy. He came out and roasted Karine in only a way that Kennedy can do. So we'll listen to that and see what is happening with Kennedy. Is George Klaus in the house? K. Bean just said George Klaus crafted the gavel back here. That's true. He did. Is he here in the house? Man, shout out to George. It's been a long time. Hey, what's up? Okay, so in our second segment, so all of that is coming up in our first segment. Then in our second segment, we're going to talk about Biden. Now, he's threatening the media. This is crazy. So this is the story from the Real Clear Politics website. They tell us that the Biden campaign is accusing newspapers of election interference. What? Over critical editorial. They're saying, hey, if you write bad things about us, guess what you're doing? You're exhibiting undue influence over the election. So, how's it feel, punks? All right, that's what everything we've ever done or said here has been misinformation, disinformation, conspiracy theories, all part of election misinfo to rig the election, Russia, all the stuff. And so now Jake Tapper he comes out, he says, Joe Biden kind of seems demented. And Joe Biden's people come out and they say, oh, you trying to rig an election there, Jake? Huh? Jake's like, what? I was just reporting. Hey, Jake, welcome aboard, okay? This is why it's a problem when you start trying to silence and censor people and you have the FBI working with the social media companies to say that's an illegitimate opinion. So they're doing it to you now. Now you're part of the same team. So we'll go through what Tapper says. We got Senator Warnock, who got asked about this and was asking about whether Joe Biden needs a cognitive exam. And Dan Goldman from New York is still out there shilling for Biden, man. I don't know what is going on with him, but he just loves Biden. The only thing he needs is more Biden. And then lastly, you probably have seen this clip floating around, but it's a good one. Trump roasts Kamala. He was out on the golf course with Barron. You can see there's Barron right back there. It's a little, looks like a little humid out there, but they're golfing. And Trump is handing out $100 donos, man. Just handing them out. Here, have a hundo. Here, have a hundo. And turns out he's got some choice words to say about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And we're looking forward to sharing that one. It's a fun one. So he goes through that. Now, I think they tried to leak this video. There's some concern about the video. It's like, why was there a leaked video? And Trump actually posted it, which is why I think he's perfectly fine with it. In fact, it makes me wonder, was he okay with it going out? But someone recorded the video. It came out. The Democrats were saying that this is indicative of Trump being in bed with America's foreign enemies. Because in the clip, Trump says something like, the leader of China is a fierce man and Kamala is a cackling moron. So yeah, it's just a compare and contrast. It's not anything that's complimentary, for example, to Xi Jinping. No, it's just a comment about his character, but it's not a compliment. It's just saying the dude's a fierce dude. Kamala can't even put together two Venn diagrams to save her life. So it's a big problem. Anyways, so they leaked this out. it came out all over. I saw it on the headlines. Trump confirms that America's enemies are amazing or something. Relax, weirdos. So they released that. And meanwhile, we've got Van Jones, who is saying Trump comments on Kamala. He's like, first of all, Biden's out of here, and Kamala is going to be way easier to demolish because she's actually dumb. Like Joe Biden's just kind of old and demented probably, but Kamala doesn't have that excuse. We can't just say, well, she's just old. She's young. She should have a functional brain, but doesn't, which makes it much harder. So Van Jones is saying, well, we're in big trouble. He says all you people might be sitting around on the TV news sites enjoying yourselves, but behind the scenes, off camera, there is panic in the party. Van Jones was out talking about it. And I pulled up this article that'll walk us through how the campaign cash is going to work. So what happens if Joe goes away? What happens if Joe stays around? Since Kamala's in the same party, can they get rid of Joe and keep Kamala and keep the cash? Because there's a lot of cash. I mean, could you imagine if you were one of these people like Bloomberg? Bloomberg just dropped over like 20 million bucks, I think, to Biden. It's like 20 million bucks to Biden before the debate. He's like, this is the best 20 million I ever made. Joe Biden's totally confident. And I can't wait to go in there and support him this year. He writes the check for 20 million. Debate happens the next day. Bloomberg's like, did that check clear yet? Hey, accounting, did that check clear? Can you hold on that? Put a stop on that check? Sorry, sir, it already transferred. No! Joe Biden says no refunds. Sorry, Bloomy. You're out 20 million buckaroos. That's terrible. So what are they going to do with all that money? Well, we're going to read through the article. CNN explains a little bit about it. And this was a fun clip from Lindsey Graham. I know. Sometimes he hits it, man. Sometimes. Today was one of them. He comes out. He says, yeah, we're charging everybody. Everybody's involved in election interference. Are you nuts? And he's telling it right to Dana Bash. He said, retribution. We're going after everybody, okay? So just get used to it. And we'll see what he says. So we got 3 good segments today. A little bit of a shorter show with a lot of clips because we don't have any big, fat, fresh filings to read through. But hopefully we get something tomorrow. Maybe not because everything will probably still be closed tomorrow. But we got some good stuff to get to today. We're grateful that you are here and with us. If you are a Locals member, thanks for being a member. If you're a YouTube member, thanks for being a member. For our Locals friends, we'll be sticking around after the show is done here to debrief a bit more. And we'd love to have you join us at watchingthewatchers.locals.com if you want to head on over there. We have an amazing community. And when we're done here, what we are going to do is do a watcher meetup debrief. So we have some great photos that we're going to share. And so before the show is done, we're going to share some of these photos. You see some of our amazing friends here, KB and Zach Nichols and JoJo in the house, along with a ton of other photos that everybody shared from the event. So when we're done here, we'll stick around and we're going to watch Bonnie jump off the stratosphere as well. So stick around for all of that coming up. Now, also, in addition to America's birthday and the celebration of independence, we also celebrate Mama G's birthday and Rob's independence from the womb, thanks to my mama. This is not my birthday, it's her birthday, but she was born, which means I got to be born. So we're grateful for Mama. She was born on July 4th, and we celebrate her birthday as well today. Happy birthday, Mama. Love you so much. Thanks for being the best mama in the world. We're very grateful that you're here because we love you. All right. Love you, Mama G. So this was Mama from our event. She came, spoke, and she shared a little bit about her baby boy. And so we love Mama G. Happy birthday, Mama. We're going over there today. So we have an early show today. So we're going to be celebrating Mama G later on tonight. So that's what's going on. And my friends, thanks for being here and celebrating the holiday with us. Happy Independence Day. Hopefully your day's amazing. Barbecuing, spending time with family, the people that you love. That's what we're doing here right now before we go and hang out with Mama. So let's get to it, my friends. We got business to attend to. It's July 4th. Let's hit it. Karine and the White House lied about Joe Biden's medical condition. They said that he didn't see anybody after the debate to give him an evaluation to determine whether his brain malfunctioned or something actually serious happened to him in his head. As we all saw, he did not do so well in front of America during a critical moment in the 2024 election campaign. But now we know that he did, in fact, see a doctor. And there was a back and forth on this. In fact, the media was digging in with very specific questions. They wanted to know whether or not he got a checkup. And so this just dropped from Eli Stokols. Here's the news. He writes to us that when a governor asked the president tonight, which was previously, about how he's feeling, the president told the governors that he had just gotten a checkup and he's fine. I know, I just saw a doctor. It's all fine. I'm not failing. There's no stroke in my brain. I'm good. Per 3 people familiar with the meeting, and they've got knowledge of the meeting. So Joe told someone else, a governor, 3 people with knowledge of the meeting confirmed. He had a brief exam days after the debate because of his cold. Okay, because of his cold. So he did see a medical doctor. This is the governors. Now we're going to come back on this and take a look at what these governors said. But part of the main criticism was that the governors had not heard from Joe, that basically nobody's heard from Joe because he can't talk because he's not well. They're saying, well, it'd be very easy. If he had one bad night, why hasn't he been out every night since all over the place saying, look, I'm good, and start doing backflips in front of MSNBC? Why wasn't he doing that? Well, because he can't. That's why. So they're telling us that he was not feeling well and he did get a checkup. But that's not what Karine said, right? So here is the report over from this woman, MJ Lee. And she shared this, says, actually, we have 2 comments on this because Karine was asked about this twice. Actually, we have 2 different outfits from Karine. So here was the first in time. Karine was asked, are you hiding any information about the president's health? Are you telling us the truth? Is anything off with him? Anything that would preclude his ability to do his job? Karine says, absolutely not. We're being honest with you.
Is anyone in the White House hiding information about the president's health or his ability to do the job day to day?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. It's all true. Everything we're telling you is honest. Now, this is curious because here you see Eli Stokols told us, no, he actually did have a checkup. He is fine. Someone did look at him and there's no concerns. But watch this. This is from MJ Lee. She says, well, I had to confirm this because Eli says you did have a meeting with someone since the governor said that. So then she called, like a good journo. MJ Lee calls over to the White House, talks to Andrew Bates. White House spokesman Andrew Bates confirms that Biden was examined. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, I asked Karine. She said not examined. Biden told the governors he was examined. So what's going on? Was he examined or not? Bates says, yeah, he was. In the days following last week's debate, to check on his cold and was recovering well. And so this week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we had those 2 comments from Karine. So on Tuesday was her first time back. So that was the comment we just watched. So if that, unless the doctor's appointment happened after that, unless the checkup happened after that, she didn't disclose that on that day. Now, also on this day, this is at 2:18 Eastern time, and I believe this was Wednesday. And so she says, I asked the White House press secretary yesterday, MJ Lee, who says on July 4th, she asked her on July 3rd. So the doctor's appointment has already happened. So why did Karine answer that question this way yesterday after the doctor's appointment has happened? Why did she answer it like this?
I just wanted to clarify one thing. I know you got a lot of questions about this issue yesterday. Sure. Has the president had any medical exams since his last annual physical in February?
And we were able to talk to his doctor about that, and that is a no.
He hasn't had any kind of medical exam?
No.
No, he hasn't had any medical exam. None. Now, is she going to say that that's the difference between a medical exam and a medical checkup? Are they going to do that stupid game? Let me turn that volume up and play it one more time.
I wanted to clarify one thing. I know you got a lot of questions about this issue yesterday. Has the president had any medical exams since his last annual physical in February?
And we were
Check.
able to talk to his doctor about that, and that is a no.
He hasn't had any kind of medical exam?
No.
I just want
Okay, no, hasn't had any. But Andrew Bates, okay, MJ Lee says, that's not right. Hello. He did. He was examined. She says he was examined by his doctor in the days following last week's debate. And it wasn't like an off-the-cuff remark. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I've been following. No, I checked and he didn't. So it's just a lie is all it is. And that's all these people do is just lie. And then they get their story straight and then they start coming back out and actually admitting. It makes sense. If he was sick with a cold, why wouldn't he have a doctor, right? Now, so then they go, well, that actually makes more sense than he wasn't examined. Okay, well, so he was not examined for his brain? No, not for his brain. So it's another lie from the White House. Karine's a liar. We all know that. But they actually like to get lied to. So let me share this. This is a wild one from this woman. She's over from CNN. This stuff will make your brain twist into a pretzel if you try to adhere to their logic. But it's wild that this is how they think and operate. And I had to share this with you. So this woman's name is Jill Filopovic. Says she's a writer. She's an author. She's a CNN columnist. And she's a recovering lawyer. Great. And so she writes about women's rights, politics, and foreign affairs. Got it. So Jill calls herself a journalist. You can see here she's in Hong Kong, New York. She calls herself a journalist. All right. So you would expect a journalist to have some opinions, of course, but you'd actually want them to probably, unless they're propagandists, you probably want them to be in pursuit of some sort of truth. I'm not a journalist or ever go to journalism school or anything like that. But I think everybody's ideally in the pursuit of some sort of truth, trying to be objective in some shape or form. And so here is what she says. And this is a wild thing to even admit. She wrote, at some point, I'll write longer on this, I hope. But I think part of the reason that the Biden must go story has been so huge is that a lot of commentators like her, voters, even members of the press, like even us, like they lied to us. Oh my gosh. We feel angry and betrayed. Could you imagine that? Feeling betrayed by somebody. All right. Now, many of us largely trusted Biden's team, which is also an insane thing to admit. If you're a journalist and you work for CNN, why would you just trust anybody? Why would you just trust their team? And to be honest, I don't trust anybody in politics, Trump's side or else or other. All you have to do is just use logic and just, well, what makes sense? And where do we operate from first principles? Do we start with the presumption of innocence? Who has the burden of proof? What is the presentation of evidence? What's the credibility of witnesses look like? And then from there, you can reason yourself into a position. But we never start from trust. Well, why is that true? Well, because they just said it. What? I'd have to throw myself out this window. Well, we're just going to trust the Trump campaign. Why? Well, I don't know, because they said so. Well, I have a bunch of other evidence as to why I can trust that opinion. I can say that opinion is in comportment with the evidence, which will create some trust. But to just blindly trust anybody in politics is idiotic. And even if you call yourself a journalist who writes for CNN, it's wild. So they largely trusted Biden's team, right? And a great comments. Yeah, trust the science. Trust the experts. Exactly. All of this was ridiculous. No. How about we just follow the evidence and actually can reason through the facts, through the evidence? So she continues, says the debate made very clear that he's not fine, as did all the other evidence up until this point. If you didn't trust them, you would have known that. But initially, she says, I think many of us felt some combo of pity for Biden and a fear for the future. Now I think there's a rising resentment at being had, okay? Being had. So she got lied to, she got betrayed, she's angry, they were gaslit, all of it, right? It's pretty bad. But is that going to change anything? Let's see. Now, to be clear, the Biden team could fully weekend at Bernie's him, meaning he's a dead corpse walking around, or they could send 3 toddlers in a trench coat to the next debate, doesn't care, and I would still vote for Biden over Trump. And I know she's being facetious, but also not. And I will encourage everyone to do the same, okay? So it doesn't matter if the dude Doesn't matter if Jill, a journalist from CNN, got lied to and abused and she's filled with resentment and rage because she's been had. Doesn't care. I'll still vote for the dude. I'll still go vote for him, even if he lied to my face. It's crazy, these people. And she admits it in open. And journalists have very much looked into the question of how Biden's age is impacting on his abilities and reported on how voters are worried about it. They've been accused of making it up a non-issue, of being ableist, of facilitating a Trump win, and so on, yeah? Your people have said, how dare you even question it? And in the meantime, Biden's team has made him available for fewer interviews even than Reagan. And I do think, since Reagan, I do think some journalists have learned the lessons of the but her emails disaster. Okay, so the journos, I guess, did their due diligence on Hillary, and then that made it hard for her to win. And so they've tried to moderate on the age question, but looking more deeply at the existential threat that Trump poses, right? So she will literally just have her own entire existence ridiculed by the oppositional party. You're just a thinking a non-thinking robot automaton NPC who will just do whatever we tell you to do because you can't break free of our grasp. But now that the age issue is fully in the open and undeniable. And so what? So what's going to change? Jill? Nothing at all. She's still going to vote for him. And she's still going to believe all of the other lies. And so I replied to her at some point over there and I said, what else did they lie to you about, Jill? You want to talk about those things too? What else are they lying about? Do you think that you'll believe them on all their J6 lies? Do you believe them about inflation? Do you believe them about the success in Ukraine? Do you believe them about the security of the border? Do you believe them that crime is going down? Any of those things? Yes, the answer is yes. They believe all of those things. And they'll not wake up and realize that it's just a big fat lie. One person who is filled with those is Anthony Fauci. And of course, he's also coming out. They just dragged him out. Hey, trust the science, okay? He's smarter than you are. Don't argue with the science. He's done his full analysis onto Joe. And Fauci says he's totally fine, totally competent, just a bad night. Trust the science. You're not medical experts out there. He is. He's a debateologist from the government.
Like a bad night, because my interaction with him was what I describe in the book and what happened even subsequent to what I described in the book after I got out. He's very probing in his questions, very analytical, very calm about things. When you go in to brief him, Major, you better really know your topic because he's going to ask you very relevant questions. And he's very reflective on things and just doesn't jump out with conclusions or anything, but is very analytic. So my interactions with him, I have to say, have been very, very positive.
Did you see the debate?
I did.
Did anything about that, what you saw, medically alarm you?
I can't say. I think it would be inappropriate to say that, Major, because when you're just looking at someone on a one-shot basis, you just don't know what could happen.
One
Did
shot?
he have a bad cold? Did he take an antihistamine to make him, groggy or what have you? We don't know what went on. And I think it would be unfair and inappropriate to try and diagnose something from just a 90-minute clip.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So there's Fauci, who's just sharing his expert opinion. He's got a great track record, by the way, as you know. Everything that he said, even though he changed himself like 55 times, was all accurate. And if you question him, you were a conspiracy theorist and responsible for the death of every single grandma in America. So now Joe Biden is having to fix his bad night, as Fauci said in his medical diagnosis. And so he's going to go hang out with an ex-Biden guy called George Stephanopolous. And we're trying to figure out what is going on with the debate, the post-debate interview that's happening here. And we know it's not going to be live. We don't know if it's going to be adversarial yet because it's George Stephanopolous, who's just a Democrat water boy. But Joe Biden will sit down with ABC News for a Friday night primetime special. Is there anything else going on this weekend during primetime on Friday? Oh, yeah, it's a long 4-day holiday weekend. Think anybody gives a crap about what's happening on primetime ABC News when they're at the lake barbecuing, celebrating the birth of America and Mama G? No. No one cares about Dementia Joe on this night, which is exactly why they're running it then. They're going to release Nancy Pelosi's stock trades also. You know, it's when it happens, Friday night. Are we paying attention? No. So the president's poor performance has garnered calls from him to drop out. Now, Biden is going to speak to Good Morning America and This Week anchor George Stephanopolous for the interview. So the first look is going to air Friday, tomorrow, July 5th. Going to air in its entirety on July 5th on Friday. Now, the interview and additional analysis will air again on Sunday, July 7th for This Week. And so that's going to be the interview. Now, again, questions about, are there going to be 35 different camera angles? Are we going to get a full unredacted transcript? Are they going to edit everything out with a bunch of voiceovers? George Stephanopolous walking us through his history as a boy in Delaware and all that crap. We'll see. So we don't know. George Stephanopolous could take him out too. He could come out and just really hit him with an easy question, and that could be the end of him. So we'll see. Now, Karine got asked about this, and she says, yeah, we know these are pretty important interviews that are coming up. These days ahead are critical. The media is wondering if they're taking it as seriously as the rest of everyone else. Karine says they certainly are.
Question. Do you think the president feels like the coming days are very critical for him as you laid out all these events that he's going to be doing?
Yeah.
Are these events very important for him to show to the American people that he still has the ability to be the nominee?
I would say that this moment is critical, regardless of the debate or not. We are living in an important moment right now. Everything is at stake. And I got to be mindful because this is all connected to what's happening in November. And I think any leader would say they always have to prove to themselves to their constituents, right? It is a day in and day out work. And yes, the president's going to have engagement. He's going to be out there speaking to the American people. Obviously, we mentioned Wisconsin. He's going to do an interview in Wisconsin as well. We talked about Pennsylvania. But the president was also out last week. Atlanta, North Carolina, New York, where he saw supporters. This is a president that has been consistently out there talking directly to the American people. He understands, as you all asked me about the economy and what people are feeling, he understands that they have to hear directly from him, and he has to continue to do that so that he can lay out his agenda. He can lay out what he wants to continue to do. It's always going to be part of the calculation, right? To continue to prove to the American people that he can continue to do the work and deliver on behalf of the American people.
And Jeff had the staff meeting today. Can you just give us a rundown of really what he tried to get across? And is there a morale issue in the White House right now?
It's a fair question, and I do have a couple things I want to say. As you just said, the Chief of Staff, Jeff Zients, did have an all-staff call. He wanted to gather the team across the building and acknowledge what the president said himself, right? That the last few days have been challenging. We've been very, very clear in acknowledging that. But we have had an extraordinary record to be proud of, and we know we have more work to do. The president says that all the time. He conveyed the importance of executing on our mission. He talked about the importance of coming together as a team and also having each other's backs. And so, look, he also said, which I think was really important, and I think every staff wants to hear, that the Chief of Staff door is open and is open to hearing directly from them any questions or any concerns. And, I think that's what you do as a leader.
That's that strange corporate line. You can always come talk to me. It's an open door policy, even though no one actually comes in and uses that door because they know that if they do, they're going to get fired. So Joe Biden says, I'm not going anywhere, baby. Says no one's pushing me out. What do you think? I'm leaving? Get out of here. Politico posted this one. And, gosh. So here is the other version, which I forgot to link in here. Sometimes I do that because I can get a little carried away when I am clipping. But here is the archive version of it. that is loading as soon here. There it is. Boom. Here's the story. Says Biden reports, no one is pushing me out. He was on that call that Karine was asked about, and he said that he is vowing to stay in the race. Joe Biden unexpectedly joined a Zoom call with the DNC staff on Wednesday. Showed up there. Just hang on. They're like, President, the mic's off. He's talking. Your mic is off, Mr. President. Someone tell him your mic is off. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so Joe Biden comes back on, mounting a new push to preserve the viability of his embattled candidacy, according to two people on the call, amid reports that Biden is privately acknowledging to allies that his candidacy is hanging in the balance. The president stated that he's in the race for the long haul. Here's what he said specifically. Let me say this as clearly as I possibly can, which was probably just, they're like, oh gosh, this is going to be terrible. Let me say this as clearly as I possibly can. Can you start over? As simply and straightforward as I can. I am running. No one's pushing me out. I'm not leaving. I'm in this race to the end, and we're going to win. Biden's forcefulness and resolve, especially compared to how he's been in the past few days, was reassuring to several attendees. Harris also said, we will not back down. We will follow our president's lead. We will fight and we will win. And so they promised to carry on. Then they sent out some emails, and ALX clipped this for us. You can see he posted this, saying that breaking, the Biden campaign and the Democratic Party have both sent out emails stating that Joe Biden is staying in the race and will be the nominee. Saying that this one just came in from the Democrats, 557. Here, Democrats, a short while ago, President Biden and Vice President Harris got on a campaign call and ended any speculation by the pundits about his future. He's staying in. He's the leader of the Democrats. And if we're with him, not only is he going to win, but we're going to elect Democrats up and down the ballot this fall. And so stick with us. That's from the Democrats. And also this one from Joe Biden. Says, Alex, I know the past few days have been tough. I'm sure you're getting a lot of questions. I'm sure many of you have questions as well. And so let me say this as clearly and as simply as I can. I'm running. I'm the Democratic Party's nominee. No one is pushing me out. I'm not leaving. I'm in this race to the end. We are going to win this election. Well, we'll see. So they got their message in place. We'll see how long that lasts. But the governors came out and had a talk with the president and the media. And so here's a little bit of what that sounded like from them. Let's listen to Hochul and see what Hochul had to say from New York about Joe's competency. And we'll get that queued up right now from Hochul.
That force being Donald Trump. And together, we'll make sure that Americans know not just what Joe Biden did for all of us, and the list of what he did for my state of New York is extraordinarily long, but where he's going for the future and where he's going to take this country. We feel very confident in his abilities. We talked about the plan and how he's going to be very focused on issues that matter to Americans, and I felt very confident coming out of this meeting as well.
Is he fit for office? Do you think he's fit for office?
Yes, fit for office. The president has 3.5 years of delivering for us, going through what we've all been through. None of us are denying. Thursday night was a bad performance. It was a bad hit, if you will, on that. But it doesn't impact what I believe he's delivering.
What would you say to people in your own party who say the game is up, enough's enough?
No, I would say this. In November, we've got a clear choice. The president was very clear that he is in this to win this. And the president is our nominee. The president is our party leader. And the president has told us, and he was very clear back there, that he is in this to win this. And so for people, I would say, and listen, we're governors. We don't do hand-wringing. That's not what we do. Governors work and get things done.
Okay. Governors
say, tell me the objective, and we're going to make sure that we accomplish the objective. And so for people who are concerned, I just want to be very clear on something. And come November, we've got a binary choice. And the binary choice is between someone who has continually delivered for us and our states and the people of our states, and frankly, someone who's vision for the future of this country is downright dangerous.
All right, so they're going to rant about Trump now, keep turning it back onto him, and they think that they're going to paper over this thing with just another interview. And maybe this interview will be amazing, but they've got another debate coming up as well. And so Joe Biden is only getting worse by the day. Representative Dingell, who's a Democrat from Michigan, where Joe Biden must win, is now hitting the panic button saying, yeah, it's not going to cut it just to have one Stephanopolous interview. We're going to need more than that.
See. And he does not have a lot of time. He's got to, I've said this, he's got to show all the country, the American people. He's got to talk to the American people. By the way, I have respect about the donor class. The donor class I want to see him talk to the American people, the working men and women of this country, and tell them why he can do the job and what he's going to deliver, and that he's got the stamina to do it.
Though.
And I got in trouble for saying one news interview isn't going to do it. It's not. It's sustained.
So one interview, and it's not going to be live. It's going to be taped and could be edited. Will be edited.
Yeah, it will.
But
see.
All right. So yeah, even Andrea Mitchell. I guess. It's going to be like a 15-minute interview that's edited, not even live, and that's going to cover it up. Okay. Now, here is Senator Kennedy, who is hammering the Biden camp and Karine, explaining what a disaster this whole charade has been.
Well, I listened to the president's press secretary. I've heard better answers on the dating game. She's blamed the president's performance on jet lag, a cold, staff. They've blamed it on everything but murder hornets. Look, I watched the debate like everybody else. I thought President Trump's performance was one of his best. I thought, obviously, President Biden's performance was a multiple vehicle pileup.
Yeah.
I don't know if President Biden will quit. I wouldn't bet my house on it. And if I were betting your house, it would be a maybe. I do know this. President Biden is deeply unpopular. And I don't hate anybody, but fair or not, the American people believe that the President Biden is older than the Adirondack Mountains. They think that he's worse than he used to be. And frankly, he wasn't great then.
And getting worse
they
by
think
the
that
day.
he talks like he's from outer space. Yes.
Senator, I got to wrap you. I'm so sorry. We got to hit a hard break. We thank you for your thoughts. And you brought up a really great point. The age question is something we've been talking about in Washington a lot lately with Senator Dianne Feinstein, with Leader Mitch McConnell. And it's a question that Americans are looking to us and wanting to know. Why do we have to keep having this discussion with politicians? Senator, we'll have you back on. Thank you.
All right, so that's Kennedy. And yeah, Joe Biden's older than the Adirondacks in the mountains over there on the east coast of the United States, which I think they're even older. Those are older than the Civil War, I think. Pretty sure. I don't know. But old, man, old. All right, so that's Senator Kennedy. And the White House now is just getting hammered. I think the media is getting pretty tired of it as well. You can see they're getting called out on their own lies by what is normally a friendly media saying, Karine, you lied about the medical checkup. Joe Biden is not going anywhere. He's sticking around. And we have whack job journalists from CNN who are going to vote for him no matter what. She's just like, lie to me harder. I loved being lied to. Abuse me. And there's a lot of people out there like that. In fact, I think maybe that's just a component of the Democratic constituency now. I don't know. But Karine lied and Joe's entire campaign died. So we're going to be here continuing to cover it, my friends. Wherever it is you're watching us, we'd love it if you subscribed. Thank you so much for inviting someone you know or love out there to come over and check our channel out so they can join us together as we go through this madness. We'll look forward to seeing you back here and on our next segment where we're talking about Joe Biden's new threats against the media, saying, how dare you cover me negatively? Do you want to go to jail? That video is coming up next. We'll look forward to seeing you over there and back here on the next one. All right, but we're live. So we will carry this on. This is a wild story. Biden and his campaign now threatening the media for providing negative coverage about his terrible dementia debate debacle and saying that this is akin to undue influence impacting the election. Jake Tapper is not even happy about this. You're going to hear him whine about, what, huh? What, us? Election interference? I mean, if us being critical of Biden is election interference, isn't anything election interference? Yeah, Jake, dummy, that's the whole point. That's what we've been screaming about here for years now, and why it's inappropriate for the FBI to be censoring actual conversation in our country. You can't censor and you can't threaten people with being criminals for talking about stuff. That's why we have the First Amendment. But watch this, Real Clear Politics. Check this out. They posted this one. Says the Biden campaign, they have this in red, accuses a newspaper of election interference over a critical editorial. They're calling it undue influence. It's like Fani Willis is going to charge somebody with a crime for interfering with an election. This is an editorial post. Here is the story. If we can X out all of these terrible pop-ups, says former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, all right, now is a senior advisor on the Biden campaign, told MSNBC on Monday that the Atlanta Journal-Constitution editorial board, I was just joking about Fani Willis. I did not know this was even an Atlanta case, but absolutely incredible that it is. On Monday, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution said that they engaged in undue influence on the election with an editorial calling on Biden to end his campaign. Here's what this woman says. You know, let me just say I was very disappointed with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. We have talked about making sure we're protecting elections and making sure there's no undue influence. And this was undue influence by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, or it was an attempt to influence. Okay, that is criminal language. All right, it wasn't murder, but it was attempted murder. It wasn't theft, but it was an attempted theft. This is criminal charge language. So this is insane in our country, but this is happening in Fulton County. And no joke, Fani Willis might charge it. Editorial boards, she said, are supposed to honor fair elections. Are they? Is that what they're supposed to do? Honor fair elections? Says who? Says who? Where is that written in anywhere? I don't think it's fair, she says, when an editorial board with 10 people sitting in a room are trying to influence an election with their opinions and analysis of the news, especially in a state like Georgia, where there's already been discussions about influencing elections because Fani Willis charged a bunch of people. Chris Jansing says, you know, your own hometown newspaper, said this wasn't a bad night. This was confirmation. Biden deserves a better exit than shuffling off the stage on Thursday. And there's her quote. But isn't that what editorial boards are supposed to do? Like, aren't they supposed to question stuff and write analysis and do opinion pieces and stuff like that? Well, they're not supposed to be mean to us. And speaking of which, I don't recall the editorial board asking about 11,000 votes. You're like, what are you talking about, whack job lady? He's been prosecuted for that. So if you're going to ask a candidate to step aside, let's look at Trump. So first of all, she threatens to prosecute the other people who are even making an opinion. And then when he says, aren't they supposed to do that? He's like, shut your mouth or I'll prosecute you too. This guy's like, oh crap, I'm in big trouble here. And then she says, by the way, what about Trump? And he should have said, well, you are prosecuting him. So, all right. So that is what's going on. Now, CNN, Jake Tapper is even incredulous on this. And he comes out and he says, this is ridiculous. They're going to be threatening the media with election interference. This is insane. Well, it's not that insane anymore there, Jake. You better get your defense attorney in order. RICO charges coming your way. Big Fanny is the biggest Fanny in Georgia, okay? And we're not talking about her butt. She brought that up, not us. So now Jake is going to be upset. He should be. He should be very nervous now. Charges probably coming any day.
Election interference is China hacking or Russia putting out misinformation or whatever.
Yeah, or
to say
whatever.
That whatever
Whatever
are we
they want.
supposed to take anything that they say about election interference seriously if that's actually their argument?
It reminds me of the arguments that Trump made in 2016 about how he took the term fake news, which originally meant like literally like crazy server farms in Sarajevo inventing fake news stories for clicks, right? And he turned it into any criticism of him was fake news. Now the idea of any criticism of Biden is election interference. It's a similar sort of taking serious concepts and treating them unseriously for partisan gain, and there's no defending it.
Yeah, no, it's not just a joke. Okay, first of all, the fake news from Trump was about Trump was actually literally fake news. So you're incorrect on that. For example, I'll give you one example: the Fine People hoax. Companies like CNN and many other news agencies kept spreading that around indefinitely until we learned. Even Snopes agrees that was literal fake news. They just changed their diagnosis on whether that was a hoax or not very recently. So it literally was fake news. Trump was right. And it's not just a stupid platitude either there, buddy. Now Trump is being prosecuted in 2 different jurisdictions for election interference, and he just got convicted for the false business records, which was their version of election interference. That's why they prosecuted him on that, for stealing 2016, which they say he stole and then appointed the 3 judges and then caused abortion to go away forever, whatever. And women are dying every minute now, dropping dead all over the country. So this guy is amazing. He goes right back to Trump, uses a false analogy. Trump's was actually accurate. Then he's now saying, yeah, Joe Biden, what he's doing is pretty bad. And it is bad, but it's not a platitude. They're charging people with crimes for that stuff. So he better get his affairs in order too. That was slightly critical of the Biden administration. So he's on notice. So Jake Tapper's not happy about it. Senator Warnock, who is from Georgia, was asked about this and about whether Biden is competent. Even Kirsten Welker was saying, do you think we should probably go get his brain scanned so we can figure out if there is electrical activity in there?
Does he need to prove that in a more robust way? For example, the White House released a summary of the president's annual physical back in February. No cognitive exam was done at the time. For the sake of transparency, should President Biden take a cognitive exam before the election and release those results?
Listen, in the course of an election, and I'm not a part of the campaign, in the course of an election, we ought to test these men. And they ought to be out there in front of the public. We ought to see who they are. And quite frankly, the more I hear Donald Trump talking, the more nervous I become. I don't need
So is that a yes to a
Donald
cognitive
Trump's
test?
cognitive exam.
Is that
well,
a
listen,
yes?
I'm not a doctor. Listen, it's not something, quite frankly, I've even thought about. I'll tell you, watching Donald Trump the other night, I had to say to myself that this is a sick person. I mean, how do you stand and literally lie every 90 seconds?
What are you talking about?
I don't know anybody like that. We're not even talking about whether you're worthy to be the president of the United States. This is somebody with a deep personal issue, and America's better than Donald.
All right, so they just can't even talk about their own candidate. It's pathetic. So he says Donald Trump lied, and I've been hearing this meme from the left. He's in the group text as well, so he got the group text from everybody. Just go say Trump lied every time. Just say he lied and lied and lied. Okay, well, Joe Biden is standing there. Is there anybody who could have done something about all of Trump's lies? Anybody in the world? They keep going back to Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, who didn't actually do their fact-checking routine like Chris Wallace did, trying to actually become a part of the debate. They just kind of sat there and let Joe Biden lie about not killing Americans, resulting in dead Americans. Nobody corrected him on that there, Reverend. So why does Joe get to lie and Trump doesn't? And if Trump wants to call out Joe's lies, as he did many times, why can't Biden call out Trump's lies? Why do they always have to go crying back to daddy moderator, pulling on his coat? Can you please help us? He's lying to you. Yeah, come on. All right, you're a grown-ass man. Do it yourself or have your candidate do it. He's the president of the United States. He can't deal with Donald Trump. He needs Jake Tapper to step in there and correct the record. And that's the candidate you guys are going to stand behind? Pathetic. All right, so speaking of pathetic, this is Dan Goldman, one of the most pathetic people who's I think, ever been in U.S. politics, bought his congressional seat in a very contentious primary battle and has been an endless shill for Joe Biden ever since he came in. It's like, I don't know what they have on this dude, but it must be amazing.
The president has scheduled several opportunities over the next several days to get out into the country, to have an interview on television, to meet and speak with folks in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and perhaps elsewhere, to show them that it was an aberration, that was just simply a really off night, and that he is certainly up to the job and is far more up to the job than his opponent, the president.
All right, so we'll see. Joe Biden's going to be out there doing his interview, and we'll see if he's able to do a good job. But I'll tell you this, George Stephanopolous better be careful, because if this interview doesn't look good for them, they might end up in prison. Fannie Willis and the people there in Atlanta, they don't like to be criticized or have you talk about their butts. And so definitely don't do that. Otherwise, you might go to jail. All right, we've got one final segment on the day, so let's get to it. And this one, I think we have a content warning coming up. So if you're worried about Trump dropping, what does he say, an F-bomb or an S-bomb or something like that, if hearing Trump make a statement that involves profanity, if that's going to be the equivalent of supporting Putin or something like that, now's your warning. But let's get to it. Donald Trump roasts Kamala as Van Jones says the Democrats are in panic mode. The whole party's melting down. They have this nice little facade on the front of what they're talking about, saying that it's all okay, we support Joe, and we are going to be here raising money for him and just vote accordingly. But behind the scenes, they don't know what to do. Joe Biden's got an interview coming up. He's got another debate that he threw out there saying, make my day, pal. Come on, talk to me, all this. Now they're freaked. And there are big questions about the money. What do we do with all this money? We had lunatics like Bloomberg write $20 million checks, then realize that they can't cancel those checks after the debate. Money's cleared, no refunds. Thanks for being a Democrat. But Trump was out after the news came that Kamala might be a number two. And I think really the strategy here is to just boost them both, right? Boost them both. You don't need to boost one or the other. You boost them both. So it's a bundle package, right? It's a 2-for-1 deal. And if Joe keels over, no worries, you got Kamala. So they're going to boost her, and Kamala's on the team because she knows that he is going to keel over any minute, and she'll be ready to go. So she's fine. I'm on board. Yeah, sure. I'll be a part of this package deal. We'll win. It's the best shot to keep the money, to keep the momentum. And if they got to nuke Joe at the very last minute, she'll slot in there and they'll just march on forward. So they're stronger together than apart. But Trump is now realizing that this is not looking so good for them. And he posted about this on True Social, saying no tax on tips as he's handing out $100 donos like it ain't nothing. And he is asked about the debate, and he comments. Here's what he said.
You gave me so much. How did I do with the debate the other night?
Great.
Amazing. Kicked that old broken down pile of crap. Yeah. It's a bad guy. He just quit, He's quitting the race. Is that right? Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man, a very tough guy. And they see him, they probably he can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting. Good. Very good. Yeah, that's amazing. Just keep knocking him out, right? Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. President. All right, so what a great clip. So he's handing out $100 donos like it ain't nothing. And Barron is sitting there watching Papa Trump drop foreign policy knowledge all over the golf course. Yeah, hey, let me tell you a little bit about the president of China, Xi Jinping. He's a fierce man. Not as fierce as me. Watch this drive. Now watch this drive. All right, so it's just amazing. And he is being recorded. I don't know if that's appropriate or allowed or if that's something they want to check on. But absolutely hysterical. And I think we should just watch it one more time with a little bit better audio so that we can hear it in all its glory, because here it is, Trump on the golf course.
You gave me so much. How did I do with the debate the other night?
Oh, fantastic.
He kicked that old broken down pile of crap. Yeah. It's a bad guy. He just quit, you know. He's quitting the race. Is that right? Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's true. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man, a very tough guy. And they see him. They probably he can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting.
Good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just keep knocking him out, right? Thank you.
Let's go. All right, so we'll just keep knocking them out. You sure will, Mr. President, and we'll be right here behind you as you do. Now, while this is all happening, Democrats are freaked. Here was Van Jones yesterday on with CNN. They had this whole panel out there. This came over from Poppy Trumpo. What's up, Poppy Trumpo? Shared this one saying that, yeah, look, behind the scenes, things are pretty bad. You might all be sitting around here, Kinzinger, pretending like it's all glory and we're going to beat Trump. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, not happening. You're all crying and freaked out. Here's Van Jones.
Look, I'm just going to be honest. I mean, everybody comes on the air and says all this great stuff, but behind the scenes, it's full-scale panic. People are passing around legal memos. PDFs are flying back and forth on WhatsApp trying to figure out what are the options, how can you replace Biden, how do you get him to do it in a way where he feels respected as he should be respected? Who should Kamala Harris's vice president be? The conversation on air and the conversation off air are completely different. But he may not be able to get across the finish line. And a mature party has to take that into account. And that is what's happening. And so, look, I understand people want to, defend him and protect him and give him their space and the dignity to make his own choice. But there is a big conversation happening right now about how this happens, not whether.
Look, how we remove Joe, not whether. And so, as we talked about yesterday and earlier this week, they cannot make any sudden moves until they know exactly what they're doing. And so they're going to prop Joe Biden up as long as they have to. And if Kamala is there as the bundled deal, you get 2 for 1. It's either going to be Joe or Kamala probably anyways. So you just start boosting both of them. You don't need to have them at each other's throats because Kamala knows the writing's on the wall on this thing. All right, so that is Van Jones acknowledging that there is a serious problem here. And the reason why Kamala might be a strong pick is because of the cash. What happens to that money? Lots of money. Now, if Biden leaves, what happens? He's facing growing pressure to get out, but now there's a question about what happens with the money, tens of millions of dollars. Lloyd Doggett and others are calling for him to drop out, but Biden said there's $240 million in their war chest. That's a lot. But neither the campaign nor the DNC responded to questions about how much the total was in the president's campaign versus the National Party Committee. And while the DNC would still control the party funds, the committee funds, Biden would have control over his campaign committee's slice, although that exact breakdown is unknown. The Biden campaign said it had nearly 91 million cash on hand. DNC said it had 65 million. All right, so look, I mean, that's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but is it that much really? In the context of the presidency? I mean, it'll probably be what, like a total of $2 billion that's usually spent. $1 billion, I think it was like the 2016 numbers. So by the time we get to November, what's it going to be? $2 billion. So what's 100 million? You can't have some billionaire or like 5 billionaires donate 20 million to make up that deficit. You can't get Bloomberg to drop another 20 and Zuckerberg to drop a 20, and you have every other, Bezos drops a 20. They'll all drop 20 mil, no problem. So they could make up, let's say you kick Biden out, you lose $100 million because he takes that money with him. So what? They go get another 100 mil? That can't be it. Campaign finance lawyers said the Biden campaign and the president himself would have a number of available avenues for the campaign committee cash. Even if Biden is not the nominee, he would have the authority to tell the campaign what to do with the funds. So he could transfer it. He could just say, just give it over to them. Tom Moore, former counsel and chief of staff with the FEC, said the money can go several places. It could all go to VP Harris, or it could all go to the DNC, or anything in between. So it's free. But Joe Biden has to want to do something with it. I think that's the other problem. Like, does Joe Biden just say, if you kick me out, right? If you kick me out, I'm taking my money. But if you kick me out and you give it to someone else, maybe who I approve of, maybe I'll give you some. Last week's debate unexpectedly thrust Harris into the foreground. She is his likely successor, although she'd probably face competition, but she says she fully supports him. Contributions to other candidates would be subject to contribution limits, but since Harris is a candidate, she wouldn't really be receiving leftover funds. So as long as she becomes the nominee, the campaign funds can seed her new campaign and be spent as though Biden was the nominee. So that's another reason why it makes sense. But it could also go to the DNC or a super PAC. Sounds like, but it could not go to another candidate, right? So it could go to the DNC, but not to like Newsom. They couldn't give it over to Whitmer. But it could go to the DNC or it could go to a super PAC. Roberts pointed out that the former Democratic presidential candidate Bloomberg made this exact move. And they dismissed complaints. He transferred $18 million to the DNC after he poured more than $1 billion. He dropped $1 billion? Oh my God. See, that's what I'm talking about. $100 million, that ain't nothing. So if you just got to pay Biden to go away, they can figure that out. Hey Joe, we don't care about your $100 million. They just got to go find the money. So Biden campaign has not reported any donations or loans from the candidate. So the money could go back into Democratic causes, but it just wouldn't go to a different candidate is what it sounds like, because there's contribution limits for those other candidates. If a candidate other than Biden or Harris at the top of their ticket, there you go, their campaign would be starting from scratch, right? I believe they would likely be able to raise a lot of money very quickly. And any money that's sitting in a dark money group or super PAC could be redirected. But Biden's main reelection super PAC, right? So there's a lot of money out there too. And I don't mean to scoff at that, but I mean, if Joe Biden, like $100 million relative to the cost of the presidency, that's nothing. So surely somebody can figure out what to do about that with the Democrats. Here's what CNN said about this. This is their reporting, their analysis on it. Let's see what they said. Takes a look at the latest fundraising numbers for Biden. Here's a bit.
As the Biden campaign is facing, there is now this one just out in the New York Times. Netflix co-founder becomes one of the biggest Democratic donors to call for Biden to step aside.
Where can it go?
That would be Reed Hastings telling the Times, quote, Biden needs to step aside to allow a vigorous Democratic leader to beat Trump and keep us safe and prosperous. The campaign, by the way, took in $127 million last month. CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton joins us now with more on the money front, namely who that money belongs to, if not the president. So if the president were to decide, by the way, this is a major if,
of course,
to leave the race, who exactly would have access to his cash? And would that be only one candidate or could it be others?
Yeah, if there is one candidate who isn't Joe Biden who would have access to that cash, it would be the vice president of the United States. She's on those FCC forms with him. She, according to law, she has access to it. Any other candidate, if the Democrats decide to nominate any other candidate, they could not access that cash.
Great chart. Love that.
That's tens of millions of dollars, I think, cash on hand.
Under no circumstances, or could Harris say, "I'm opening this up"?
She herself can have it, but no, it cannot go to the other candidates. It cannot go to them.
Okay. So would Biden have any input onto how that money is spent if he were to say,
right.
let me write a proviso here, right?
Yeah. So Biden himself could form a PAC. Right? And he could decide, you know what, I'm going to do an independent expenditure and I can spend it. But here's the deal. It is written in the law that candidates have better money. Their money goes further on television advertisements. They get a discount if they're candidates. A PAC does not get those discounts. So his money wouldn't necessarily go as far. More than that, he can't really coordinate with the campaign. If, let's say, it's not Harris, and let's say he decides to form this PAC, he can't coordinate with them.
Communication.
Exactly right. It would be very, very difficult for them to understand, okay, this is where I necessarily want that money to be spent.
Because our campaign finance laws are so rigorous, as we know.
Of course.
What other options are there then for the war chest?
Yeah, another thing that he could do is he could give it over to the Democratic National Committee, and they could try and spend it, but they would run into very similar issues that he would run into if he himself formed his own PAC. One other option is he could refund the money and then potentially go out there and ask the donors, hey, you should donate to this new person.
Right.
But there's no guarantee that that would necessarily happen. I think the bottom line here, Jim, is really simple. If Harris is the presidential nominee, it's very easy to get the money to her. If it's not her, then it's a whole big ball of a mess.
All right, Harry Anton.
Kamala Harris can get the money. Nobody else can. Another reason why she might be coming in at number 2 or maybe now number 1. Lindsey Graham was out. He had a lot to say about this, and Dana doesn't like what he's saying. He's saying, you just talked about retribution. He says, hey, sorry, you guys started it. You launched the first missile. We told you don't do that because you're going to wreck our entire system, but you did it anyways. And now no one's above the law. Welcome to the new game.
President Trump a felon. Well, be careful what you wish for. I expect there will be investigations of Biden's criminality at the
Sure
border.
hope so.
If I'm Mayorkas, I should be worried that somebody's going to come after you because you've abused the parole statute. The Hunter Biden laptop, all 51 of the people who signed a letter saying the laptop was fake and Russian disinformation. I hope somebody looks at you because that's election interference. So this country is going to have a resetting here, and using the Biden standard of glorifying political prosecutions, Pandora's box has been opened. Whether he steps down or not, accountability is coming to him.
I want to get to a couple of important issues, sir, but you just warned of retribution.
Yeah.
No one's above the law there, Dana.
I warned that the Pandora's box opened by the Democrats is going to be applied here. There should be an investigation of Mayorkas and Biden for abusing the parole statute that led to the murder of Laken Riley. They let the accused killer out because of lack of capacity. They paroled him illegally. I think the criminality of the Biden border policy should be looked at. We should look at how people lied about the Hunter Biden laptop being fake when it was real. Yeah, I expect people to look at that. You had a January 6th committee looking at what happened on January 6th. I hope there'll be a committee looking at border policies that have led to the rape and murder of lots of Americans, people from 18 to 30 dying by fentanyl poisoning coming through a broken border. Yeah, I hope that does happen.
All right, Lindsey Graham, sometimes a broken clock is even right. And he was pretty on fire on that one. I hope he is right. I hope he does something about it, because we'd like to see that as well. There were a bunch of deep staters who were absolutely involved in rigging the election and in orchestrating a conspiracy of criminality all across our country. There should be repercussions. No one's above the law. Political prosecutions are now in vogue in America. And when the Republicans retake the mantle of power, hopefully we enforce it as well. So we're going to be here continuing to cover this, my friends. Trump is going to continue to roast Kamala. Maybe he'll even be debating her soon. Who knows? But when that development comes, we'll be here to cover it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, wherever you're watching this, for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for liking this video by hitting the like button. We'd love it if you had someone you know or loved who might enjoy this content. If you'd invite them over here, send them a short video so they can see some of the madness that is happening out there all across the fruited plain of America. We've got a lot of great stuff on our channel. If you missed our segment about Karine lying about Joe Biden's medical condition, we'll cue that one up for you next. Otherwise, my friends, we'll look forward to seeing you back here on the next one. All right, my friends, it is a beautiful and amazing Independence Day show. We covered 3 good topics today. The roast of Kamala as the Democrats enter into panic mode. Biden threatening the media over negative debate coverage. And we've got Karine lying about the medical condition. But now it is time to hear from you. And before we jump into any of those comments, well, let's hit your comments first, and then we'll do our Watcher Meetup debrief. So let's see what some of these comments look like. We saw some comments come in, and of course, when we're done here, we're going to go over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members only after party. But before we do, we are going to do our Watcher debrief. But let's see who's joining us on the day. Hey, what's up, Glocky? Sharon, a happy July 4th start to the day. Look at this. This is from Will Smith. Remember, July 4th, not only is Mama G's birthday, it's not only the birth of America, it's also the day Will Smith saved us from aliens. And he punched that one in the face and he said, "Welcome to Earth." Ugh! Thanks, Will. He knows how to punch stuff and slap things. Hey, what's up, Glocky? This one was a fun scene. Says, history began on July 4th, 1776. Everything else that happened before that was a mistake. Hey, this is a nice shout out from Glocky and our friends in the UK. Says, happy Treason Day, you ungrateful colonials. Hey, shout out to our friends in the UK. It's great to be free. Hey, what's up, Glocky? Says, my whole life, here's one. My whole life, this is, looks like a quote from James McHenry, who's now armed up and ready to go. Another one from Glocky saying, happy 4th of July. Washington says, have fun at work today, England. Washington. This is for our friends in the UK. Have fun at work today, England. Have a great day, our friends in the UK. Hey, he says, this Independence Day, remember who the enemies are and who would have turned you and your families over to King George. Hey, remember Mel Gibson in that great movie called The Patriot? Talking about my God-given rights versus your need to feel safe. Hey, this one's from the Rubos. You know them at rubosaltshop.com. They sent this one in. Says, good morning, good afternoon, Rob and the Watchers. Happy 248th Independence Day. They say, God bless America, baby. Happy Independence Day from the Rubos. Man, we love the Rubos and their delicious salt. Happy birthday, Mama G. This one also came in from the Rubos. Oh, look at this. A nice cupcake for Mama G. You guys are the best. And they also sent Mama a birthday card. This is just great. Happy birthday, Mama G. May God always be with you and provide you with those valuable things in your life. Joy, love, happiness, and healthy living. Happy birthday, Mama G, from the Rubos at rubosaltshop.com. And they're the best. And the Rubos, we're going to come back on the Rubos because they provided a whole slew of delicious salt to our entire meetup event. And we got some photos of their salt on the tables in a minute. Thank you to the Rubos. And thank you for the birthday card. What's up? Kelly Sell now says, here's my annual birthday tip. Whoa, that's a nice one, Kelly Sell now. Happy birthday, America, Mama G, and to me, Kelly Sell now. Happy birthday, Kelly Sell now. And thanks for making, man, what a great birthday. You're giving gifts on your birthday. What a tremendous person you are, Kelly. Happy birthday to you and America and Mama G. You're in very good company, Kelly Sell now, as is America and as is Mama G, because they've got a birthday shared with you. So amazing. Thank you so much for saying that. Happy birthday. Hopefully you're doing something amazing today, celebrating all the years on this beautiful planet. And thanks for spending it with us here today. Kelly Sell now, happy birthday. We got ELZ says, Robert and all the Watching the Watchers friends, happy Independence Day. And Rob, is your mom a Yankee Doodle Dandy, a real live daughter of our Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July? On the 4th of July, Mama, born the same day that we celebrate America's independence. And I don't know, maybe that's why I have America just infused in my bones because of that. I don't know. But we love Mama, we love America. Don't know what else to say. Thank you, ELZ. Wayne Butler, what's up? Thanks for becoming a supporter over on the YouTubes and grabbing our extra members-only content. Hey, look at this one. We got a new baby in the house. 9 months from Muffin Rando. Full baby in the house, courtesy of Muffin Rando. 9 months as a membo says, who keeps taking Karine's sleeves? I need to know. Were they gone? Somebody took them again? Man, a lot of problems in DC. People are stealing cars. They have boil orders for the water, and Karine's sleeves keep going missing. Hey, K-Bean, shout out to George Klaus. Thank you, K-Bean, for making the amazing gavel, which is just outstanding. It's got a lot of heft and girth to it. I appreciate the gift, George. That was an amazing one. Thanks for sending that one in. Just Rhonda is here, says, hey, Rob, I wanted to wish you a spectacular happy Independence Day and a happy birthday to Mama G. Same to you, Just Rhonda. Happy Independence Day. I don't like to watch these guys, but I had to see their opinions on the debate. Chase Hughes has an interesting things to say about Biden in the first 10 minutes. Definitely worth the watch. And so good shout out. That is from the behavior panel, the body language guys. So great comment on that. So Chase Hughes, the body language experts, shout out to those guys, and Just Rhonda sharing that nice tip. Something to watch when we're done here. Thanks, Just Rhonda. Sounds like a good one. What's their conclusion? He's got dementia? Yeah, and I'm sure it's a lot more articulate than that, but like is it dementia? Yeah. What's up, LC? Hey, I love your show. What's up, LC? I love that you love it because that means a lot. I learned so much watching it. Thank you, LC, for saying that. Thanks for watching it. Thanks for being here. And we're learning a lot together. I got to tell you, I'm learning a ton. What's up? This is from Tech Lady. What's up, Tech Lady? Thanks for the live feed today. Thank you, Tech Lady. Thanks for being here and joining us as we go through it. A little bit of a shorter show, but we wanted to make sure we said hello today. We got this one from Rob on Rumble. Says, hey, don't insult my Senator John Kennedy. He was considering dropping out of the Senate and running for the Louisiana governor. We said, don't do it. We need you to stay in the Senate. He's a great man. I don't know that I intended, did I insult him in any way? Maybe by calling him Ted? I didn't mean to do that. Mini Wheat says, Rob, on the most glorious day, we as watchers must remember, this is so true. This is so true. Everybody, just pause for a moment. I really want you to hear this message. It's very, very important. Here's the message. We must remember what can be unburdened by what has been, so that we can be burdened by burdens unlike burdens before. Think about it. Happy Independence Day and happy birthday to Mama G. Thank you for that, Mini Wheat. It's profound. I need a minute. Wow. Hey, Jay Dizzle says, would Bannon and Navarro be able to use Trump's immunity and say they were following commander's orders? I didn't know if they would fall under that umbrella. So it's a separate issue, really. It's about privilege. It's not really about immunity. It's about privilege. Kind of a closely related issue, but not quite. So it's different. So no, the answer would be no. The immunity applies to the president. Trump is talking about withholding certain documents and testimony based on executive privilege. And the case was clear to distinguish privilege from immunity. But it's a great question, and I like how you're thinking, Jay Dizzle. What's up, Jack Mack? Says, KJP is so thoroughly dishonest, generally speaking. I'm amazed some days she can live with the liar she's become, and the liar she knows we all know that she is. It's a little embarrassing and shameful. Yeah, it's wild. And I was thinking about that too. It's like, do you just finally just settle into the job and you're just like, look, I just have to do this. It's like everybody knows I'm lying. So is it wrong anymore? It's like if the job is to go out and lie to people, can you blame someone for lying? Well, the whole job is like lying, really. No, we just don't say it on it's not on the job description. Just go out there and lie to everybody, but kind of is. But I agree. It's completely embarrassing. I don't know how you live with yourself, because having to lie is a very toxic thing. That's why the truth is so freeing, because the truth is very empowering. If truth is empowering, and we all know it is, because we've all spoken our truth and stood in it, at least once in our lives, you also know that lies are toxic, man. That's why you walk around in shame and you feel gross. So to have that every day and do that every day and then go home and like celebrate it, that was great, man. That great lie. Great job. You did a great job. Oh, I don't know what that does to your soul or your spirit, but it doesn't sound good. Good to see you, Jack. Hey, this one from this old guy. Nice dono says, okay, so the Biden campaign has raised over $91 million. If Biden decides not to run, they have to refund all those donations? I don't think so. There's no refunds. This is politics, baby. Where's that money going? No, it's done. It's done. Refunds in politics? No. What about what they've already spent? Whose pocket do those refunds come out of? Yes, you're not getting that money back, man. No way. It's the Democrats. I like how you're thinking, this old guy, but no. You're screwed. You donated that $20 million. You think Bloomberg's getting a $20 million refund? No. That's all Democrat money, baby. You're not getting that back. What's up, this old guy? Thank you for that. This one, NY Renal on Local says, trust, I don't believe that tweet for one moment. It's a tremendous excuse because Biden's cognitive ability was obvious. It wasn't trust. They were complicit. It was a cover-up. They trusted a politician who's famous for plagiarism. Got it, right. Hey, Rob says, Fauci is probably, well, leave that one alone. What's up, NY says, notice how Fauci, when he lied, folded his hands in defense to try to protect himself, creating a little force field to insulate himself from scrutiny. This one from James M. says, how many of these deep staters will flee the country when Trump is elected? I'm sure they're already planning on it. Well, I don't know where they're going to go, but if they really think Hitler is going to win, as I think Joy Reid said, she should have a plan. I mean, she doesn't want to be here when Hitler comes back to power, obviously. Where is she going to go? Where there's less dictatorship or something? Like what, Ukraine? I don't know. Rob, what's up? Shout out, welcome aboard as a new YouTube member. This one came out from Knox, defense attorney in Texas on Local, says, happy and blessed 4th of July all. Hey, that washed up old actor warned us. This story from MSN says, Robert De Niro issues a warning on Trump, saying he will never leave. If he wins, he'll never leave. Which is what they said last time, before he left, peacefully. Knox says, they just love that word clear, don't they? It's right up there with that word sharp. I want to be very clear. And then they proceed to be as non-transparent as humanly possible. The opposite of clear. NY says, they should show clips of Rep. Dingell's father, who was in Congress until he was in his 90s. She was accused before she ran of being a standing voting for him on the floor by proxy, right? So she knows a little bit about this age saga. This one from Peas and Butter says, on this July 4th, Biden's X account still has his Pride Month banner. Well, he's got some bigger things to worry about other than changing the Pride quote, the Pride banner. He's, like his entire political career. And they'll get around to it, I'm sure. What's up, Rick D over on YouTube says, the over-under on when the first journalist gets arrested and charged for, quote, election interference, now that they've called it that. I said 2 governors so far have been caught rigging the election. James says, yeah, it's a good question. So when is Jake Tapper going to get rounded up? It depends who wins. Yeah, it depends who wins. And related to election interference, do we think I mean, you want to put like a close, so the key with over-unders, the over-under bet is you want to split people. So you don't want to actually make a prediction on when you think it's going to happen. You want to split people. So do you think that it will, so like if you called it like October 25th or something, is somebody going to be arrested before October 25th or after October 25th? That's right before the election. And then after the election, it's probably closer to after. I think more people would probably split because things will get rowdy after the election. So somebody will win. The other side will say, no, rigged. And nobody's going to agree on the outcome. So I think a good over-under on that would be probably like January 6th. That'd probably be a good one. Because that's the day. And then if somebody gets arrested on January 6th again, when they do the transition again, then that would be a push. So that would be my over-under, January 6th, before or after. That's a tough one. NY, election interference. MSNBC is basically repeating a free campaign ad for the Bidens. The hypocrisy drips from every word. Big Wiggle says, Fauci must be referencing interactions with the Bidens from the 80s. And Rob, when are you going to do tracksuits like Good Logic? When are you going to do tracksuits like Good Logic? Like an outfit? Like wear a tracksuit? Or what? Well, we love Joe. We love Good Logic. I don't know. Is he wearing different suits now? I don't know. I'm going to have to check out his channel. I didn't realize he was upping his wardrobe game. Amazing. Hey, Big Wiggle is a new supporter. Thank you, Big Wiggle, for that one. Thanks for joining us. Grab that Membos Only content. ELZ said the fireworks on this chat is way better than anything that gets lit off on a barge, from ELZ. We have a great chat, lots of fireworks, and great fun images too. Tweak says, happy birthday to America and to Mama G. Tweak, thanks for that one. Very nice dono over on the locals. And it's great to have you. Tweak joining us from overseas. We got this one from Tree Tiger, bringing in 5 new membos. Amazing. Thank you, Tree Tiger, for bringing in 5 membos. Just Dia, we got Poem P, Brandon R, Vibes in My Lane, and Eric with a K, all coming in, gifted membos, courtesy of Tree Tiger in the house. Hey, what's up from KB and Mod the Fort down for us says, Kamala's the audio equivalent of poop in the pool. It's true. It's true. Everybody wants to bail. She starts playing it. The chat goes like the live stream starts exiting. And people say, mute, 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 mute. Because it's gross. It just stinks up your earlobes. Hey, NY says, total schadenfreude post-debate, which is taking pleasure in the misery of others. The facts and how Democrats are reacting beats any of the best produced entertainment. Literally, you cannot make this stuff up. It's been wild. It's been the best reality show. I mean, this election season has been crazy. And what's been so fun about it is we called it, all of it. That Joe was not going to do well and everybody could see it. And he just showed up anyways and did it. It was like a slow motion train wreck. Hey, what's up, Spuds? Says, is Trump going to give Cammie the shirt off his back? She would be POTUS number 47, you know. Yeah, I don't know what. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, Dolphin Fan is the man. What's up? Very nice dono from Dolphin Fan. Says, good morning, everyone. Wishing everyone an amazing Independence Day. And Rob, happy birthday to your mama. May God bless her with many more to come. God bless everyone. What a nice comment from Dolphin Fan. Very nice dono as well, Dolphin. Thanks for that. Happy Independence Day to you, my friend. Hopefully you're celebrating, doing something amazing today. Or even just relaxing and recharging and celebrating America. Dolphin Fan, amazing. Bringing in 10 more membos. Welcome aboard. We got Wrath L, Steffi's here, Karen L, Cloud99, Sherry D. We have Pope Rackets in the house. We got Touched Me, Sarah Long. We got Dog Backwards is God. Shantae is here. Rocky's in the house. And others shouting out. Dolphin Fan is the man. Bringing in a bunch of new membos. Alpha She-Wolf bringing in 5 more and being a membo. Thank you, Alpha. Bringing in Munster, 1968 Camaro. Carl's here. Kevin H. and Tex Zombie, gifted membos. Error says, man, that must have been one hell of a cold. Are they really so uninformed and high on their own cope and propaganda that they are only realizing Biden is broken now? They don't pay enough attention. Yeah, that's one way to interpret it. And I think some of them, legitimately were duped, I guess. There probably is a portion of them that were legitimately duped, that are just good-natured people that just trust the government, which I just don't understand it. It's not in my DNA at all. I don't trust authority at all. And I don't know why. It's just in my DNA, I guess. But even if somebody tells me, you should really do that thing because it's really good for you, I'm like, well, why? Why? Well, because I'm an expert and I know it's 100%. And still, well, I don't know about that. So, I know it can be a problem sometimes, actually. But the point is that there's probably people on the other end of the spectrum who just believe everything all the time, just like anything. And so I'm sure there's a portion of good-natured people who just got duped. They just trust the government, and they're not bad people. They're not idiots. They're just, a little bit, maybe gullible is the word, but good-natured, good-hearted people. And then there's the people who are just liars, okay, who clearly knew that this guy's gone, and their entire strategy was to just try to put some duct tape on this wrecked car and squeeze it past the finish line. And that is dishonest. And now they're trying to pretend like they were in that first category, in that first group. No, we just got taken advantage of. No, you didn't. You're part of the cover-up and the conspiracy. You guys are liars. Hey, what's up? Trevelyn Gale says, hey, Rob, keep up educating and truth-telling to the American folks, Rob. Open their eyes. We're working on it, man. We're working on waking up as many people as we can out there. Of course, all present company here excluded because you're here. But, yeah, we're hopeful that more and more people start to see. It doesn't even have to be us. I just want people to understand the concepts of our civil liberties and why they are so important and why our government from both sides are trying to dump all over them. Hey, what's up, Jay? Thanks for sending this one in. Became a new supporter, and so be sure to grab that extra members only content in there. Jack Mack says, Dana Bash has been consumed by TDS. If these Democrats broke the law, it's not retribution, Dana. It's criminal justice. Exactly, Jack. No one's above the law in America. It's only fair. Knox says, great stream, Robert. Celebrate your lovely mama with gusto today. Oh, you know we will. We got some gifts. I got some rapping to do as soon as we're done here. Then we're going to go celebrate. It's going to be amazing. Thanks, Knox. Happy 4th to you. NY says, yes, I'm totally confident that the DNC and Biden will absolutely follow the campaign finance laws impeccably. Not, yeah, right. Hey, this one from Eric with a K. We just had a baby in the house on the 4th of July. Says, happy 4th of July to my chat family and Robert, and thank you. Thank you, Eric, man. Thanks for being a membo. Eric with a K. Membo for 9 months. That is a new baby. And we're glad to be sharing that with you today on this beautiful Independence Day, Eric. Eddie Block is here. Says, what's up, Eddie Block? We're going to take a look at some photos with Eddie here in a second over on Locals. Eddie, once again writes this. Once again, the meetup was amazing. I felt like I was with family. I totally agree with that. He says, the explanation about the strategy of picking a vice president was very informative. I made some really special friendships on Saturday, and happy birthday, Mama G. What a great comment, Eddie. And we remember Eddie. If you're not following Eddie Block Films on any of the socials, you should be. Eddie was the gentleman who testified in the Proud Boys trial, and his service dog right here, this real beautiful boy here, is named Donnie, short for Donald. And both Eddie and Donnie came to the Watcher meetup at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, and it was a great ton of fun. We got some great photos with the real good boy over there. And so shout out to Eddie. Glad you got to join, Eddie. We had a great time meeting you and your pup. And I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. On to the next one. Sideways is here. Says Mark Garagos is going to represent Hunter in the LA tax trial. Garagos was the go-between between Avenatti and Nike. Interesting. So he sounds perfect for the Hunter case. Just perfect. Hey, Elf is in the house. Gifted 10 membos. Thank you for bringing in 10 membos, ELF. And you know who you are in the house. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for bringing them in, Elf. TMB is here. What's up, TMB? Thanks for becoming a supporter. Grab that membos only content. Lady Ice says, enjoy our freedom today and always. Enjoy our freedom today and always. And Lady Ice is sending some other photos of some babies. Says, Carson May is doing great. Surgery scheduled for 7/22. So thanks for sending your prayers in for little Carson May. Also sending in a happy birthday card to Mama G. Thanks for that one, Lady Ice, saying happy birthday to Mama G. Very nice of you to do that. This one from Spud says, to quote George Costanza, it is not a lie as long as you believe it. Plus, due to Karine's genetics and other things, she cannot be called out. These are the new rules. MAGA Hat says Dana Bash's husband or ex-husband was one of the 51 so-called intelligence idiots. And this one from Rick D is bringing in 5 new membos. What's up? Thank you, Rick D, for bringing in new membos. Look who's coming in. No Japsky's in the house. Sir Don Tripp. Barbara Walsh is coming in. Vicky O and Grace all got gifted membos courtesy of Rick D. Thanks, Rick, for bringing in the new membos. Mo Mooney says the new Biden slogan, cope and change. That's great. I like that. It's a play on hope and change. Get it? Hey, Rob says, anyone who's afraid that Trump will never leave can be unburdened by what has been done by leaving the country. I will take all the illegals and make them citizens, and we can just get rid of the Democrats. That's a fair trade. Angelus, what's up? Angelus Darkflame became a supporter over on the YouTubes. Great to have you. And Jeffrey A, what's up? Says, happy Independence Day, Rob, and happy birthday to your mom. Thank you for that, Jeffrey Adams. Happy birthday to Mama G, and happy Independence Day to you, Jeffrey Adams. This one came in from Mary. says, please say a few kind words for my boy Barney here this 4th of July. He's a wreck. He's going to be in my room with soothing dog music with YouTube on. I just gave him with some medicine. Nothing seems to help him though. Oh well, I'm still going to enjoy the festivities. Well, we'll be sending some good love and energy your way, Mary, and to your boy Barney in the house, another real good boy on this July 4th holiday weekend. Now, I also want to share with you some amazing pictures from the Watcher meetup, and it was just amazing. So, the Watcher meetup in Las Vegas was a tremendous success, my friends, and here are some photos that we got to share. You can see this is what it looked like. We were posted up right outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. There's my boy, my brother Joey, who was there helping in attendance, get people situated and name tagged up along with our amazing mods. You see Kay Bean in the house and Zach Nichols, who were there helping us assemble everything. Okay, all those name tags and everything that were assembled were largely under their direction, and we're grateful to the help that they provided. Now, we had a ton of photos that were shared over in this thread. This is the incredible Robert Barnes in the house. And so I just want to pause for a minute and just say how amazing Robert Barnes was when he came and spoke. He gave us so much knowledge and information. It was actually crazy. And I thought I knew a lot about Robert Barnes. I thought that I knew about the things that he had worked on and had accomplished. But he gave us a background. I said, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. And he walked us through a bunch of stuff. And I didn't know the half of it. I knew what, maybe a third of it. But all of the other stuff that he's worked on was just like, you did that case and you did this case and you did this case. It was crazy. So if you already had some admiration, some appreciation for Robert Barnes and his expertise in the law, you probably don't even know the half of it, to be honest with you. I didn't. So it was amazing. He walked us through a bunch of stuff. We got into some amazing analysis about the election and about Joe Biden, and he had inside baseball stuff, speaking with people from Trump's office and Trump's world and all the different worlds, the Kerry Lake world, all sorts of stuff. It was just a ton of fun, and it was amazing. And we're super grateful that Robert was able to share some of his time with us. He was very just gracious with it, just showed up, no questions, happy to help, happy to come be a part of the thing. And he was a consummate gentleman. It was just wild. So everything that you see about him on the TV, on the YouTubes and all the platforms, it's real. He's a real deal. And it was a ton of fun. And so you can see while we were there speaking, talking about all this stuff, we had some amazing people who were there joining us. You'll notice we got Sergeant Bob over from Locals. Miss Lucky was in the house. And we even have Rubo's Salt Shop, which is all over the table. So the Rubos sent in a bunch of salt, and it's, of course, the best salt that you can put on your food. It's right here, rubosaltshop.com. It comes from the seas of France. I don't know where your salt comes from, but it's great. rubosaltshop.com. They sent it in, and we passed that out. So everybody had that for the day and for the lunch, and it was just outstanding. So Robert Barnes was there. We had a ton of people who were there supporting us as well. Here's a photo of your boy and Robert Barnes. And so we sat up there and had a great interview with him and talked about everything, talked about all sorts of just incredible stuff. So I think it was about maybe 2 hours. We were just chit-chatting, and it was tremendous. So once again, thank you to Robert Barnes. Thank you for making the time to come speak to us. We had just an absolute blast having you there. And you can see behind us was the family panel, which I'll share a little bit about here in a second. This is the scene from the room. And so this is where I was seated, just taking a picture as Robert Barnes was speaking. You can see we had a full house, standing room only in the back. We had just under about 70 people who were there. And people were coming and going as well. People were coming in and leaving, checking the place out for 20, 30 minutes, saying hello, and then moving on. But it was just an absolute blast. And so let's take a look at some of these other photos that were shared. And there's a full thread of these over on the Locals platform. You can see everybody's just posting tons of amazing photos because it was just outstanding. And speaking of Donnie and Eddie, K. Bean sharing this one. There's Eddie and there is Donnie, the real good boy. As I mentioned earlier, Eddie was somebody who testified in the Proud Boys trial, and we talked a lot about that trial here. We had some other photos. This one, some of these came in from Deanne. What's up, Deanne? Good to see you again. We had some of these. You can see there is us getting ready for the family panel. Put my family up there, Joey, Mama, and Gregory, and the beautiful Miss Alexis. We're all up there talking about your boy and about what we're doing here, watching the Watchers and all the things. Here's another great photo that we saw. Here's some more action shots, hanging out with Robert Barnes. There's the room. We were on a break. Everybody was taking photos. And so just a great day all around. As you saw, Mama G was there, and she was sharing some knowledge. We had Joey in the house sharing some knowledge about movies and the Marvels and all the things that are happening, coming out very soon. And you can see here's the family panel with some more photos. We're just sharing some stories, doing some Q&A. And this one's like a little action shot right here. So it was just a ton of fun. Let's see, we had some other photos. Here's one with Robert Barnes and Deanne, and you can see that's another great shot. Here is the back of the room. So here's what it looked like if you were sitting in the back with a little bit of a fisheye lens. It was a great gathering. Here's Zutral and Mama in the house. Shout out to Zutral and Mama. Very grateful that they got to join, and we got to meet them. And so you can see just a ton of great pics. Here's Carrie B. Carrie B, Zach Nichols, and K. Bean modding the fort down for us on the regular, sharing some photos there. Now, if you missed it, we also had some very interesting things happening over at the Stratosphere. And so our friend Bonnie shared this. This is Bonnie, who, if you're on Locals, you know Bonnie very well, and on YouTube probably, because we talk a lot about our friend Bonnie. But she went over there. She says, okay, here's my jump. All right, let's watch it. She says, note, I said this is for watching the Watchers before I jumped. A little hard to hear because it's very windy out there. But on behalf of watching the Watchers, my friends, Bonnie jumped off a big building in Las Vegas on behalf of the Watcher fam.
How you feeling, Bonnie? I feel great. That's what I like to hear. Adventuresome. All right, let's show them the view.
Las Vegas.
All right, let's go, Bonnie.
Now, let's just take a quick look at that, because I think we even have the Trump Hotel, which is right over somewhere over here. I was trying to see if I could see it real quickly, but I think we might be able to see it. I think that's down in the strip over there. Anyways, quick shot. Here's Bonnie.
All right, let's go, Bonnie. Maybe not. All right, face inside. We're going to get one more picture, okay?
Let's go!
Bonnie, face me. This one's gonna go in the front. The second one goes on your back, so both hands here and face that way, okay? Both hands here? On this side, and face that way. Just enjoy the view for now, okay? We're gonna do some safety checks. Okay. Main on. Backup's good. Good. Now continue facing that way.
Here we go. Let's go, Bonnie.
You're straight, great. All right, Bonnie, this is when you fly. Right hand here. Left hand is going to go on this side, okay? Go the opposite way. This hand is going to go on this side. Perfect. All right, your toes are going to go outside. Bonnie, I'm going to give you a countdown. When I say go, hands up, jump forward, okay? Okay. All right, you got this. Here comes Bonnie in 3, 2, 1, go!
Heck yeah, Bonnie! Just got it. Woo, baby! Just did it. So amazing, Bonnie. So congratulations for doing that. Super fun. And I know that was a big deal And so we're super proud of you. Thanks for jumping on behalf of the fam. And we're glad you made it. We're glad you made it down. So we're glad that you're still here. So thanks for sharing that, Bonnie. Super fun. And Bonnie wasn't alone. She also was joined by Jack Mack. So Jack Mack did it too. Amazing. So they were over there jumping off of tall buildings. We had just a ton of fun. You can see we had just an amazing time. Tons of group photos. More photos here. Here's the room. More family panel action. Joey was dropping knowledge. And here's some more. Another great photo over there. Shout out to Cliff Norman and the fam with Barnes and some amazing people. And it was great, my friends. And so we're grateful to everybody who was able to make it out. We really appreciate all of the help. We had some amazing mods in the house who were incredibly helpful. K-Bean, Zach. Here's some more from Eddie Block. What's up, Eddie? What a great photo. I hadn't seen that one yet. So here's some more. There's another one with real good boy Donnie. K-Bean, Donnie, K-Bean, Eddie, Zach, and I know that's Doc Master Elliott in the background there in the blue. Doc Master Elliott's back there. So it was just a ton of fun. Here's Bonnie with Donnie. Bonnie with Donnie. Oh, very cute. So it was a great time, my friends. And as you can see, I think that's Sergeant's GPS in the house. Some great friends there chatting with Robert Barnes. Sergeant GPS. Man, great to meet you. And Jeff also came down. That's right, Jeff. And Jeff had a great question about toxicity in life. I remember it was a great time. So great to meet you both. Thank you guys for sharing that. Here's Zach and Donnie. What a good picture. Zach rocking the merch. Zach looking good. And here's my brother. There's Joey and Donnie also as well. We were all hanging out. So this took place at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Zach and Bonnie on the way out. Bonnie's wearing the Ungovernable shirt. So it was just a great time. As you can see, here's C. Reed. Here's Ange in the house. C. Reed and Ange in the house. Great looking photo. Good to see you. There's my mama and papa. What's up, Mama G and Greg in the house? Good to see you guys. And so you can see there's Doc Master and many more of our friends. So we are super grateful to everybody who was able to join us. And if you have other photos you want to share, we're bundling them all up over there. And it was just a great time. So about 68 people total. We had, all the food was totally gone. I think we had like one little sliver of chicken left. And we went way over time, but it was tremendous. It was a great event. And we had some awesome help. So again, the Rubos sent some stuff in. A lot of people helped. I'm going to forget everybody I want to thank, but it was just a great event. And it was our very first event. It was all thrown together without any experience doing any of this, and we have a lot to debrief on. So we had some great feedback from a bunch of people, and we're going to plan what the next iteration looks like. It was just a lot of fun. And as other people have mentioned, it felt a little less awkward than I think events do. Let me say a lot less awkward. It felt very natural. I've been to many events. You walk in there, it's like the first day of high school. You're like, what's everybody doing here? I don't know anybody. I'm kind of intimidated and maybe even nervous to be here. But everybody kind of knew each other. It's like, hey, I know you because I know who you are online. And so everybody was just able to mesh, and it was fun. We had a great time, lots of laughs, some serious talk, but a lot of fun. And so if you missed it, we missed you. But next time, we'll be planning another one. When that will be, time will tell. We'll have to figure that out, when and where and how and all the things. But it was a tremendous amount of fun. And so thank you to everybody who came, who was joining. Tons of photos are there. So if you want to go check those out, watchingthewatchers.locals.com is where you'll find them. But all right, so that's the update. And thanks for letting us share some of that. We had some other donos come in as we wrap it up. And I also want to thank my family who came. I didn't mention that, but they were a huge help. Thank you to Mama G. We're going to go say thank you again. And to Greg and Alexis and to Joey and everybody for helping put it together. Our mods. Trump Hotel was great. It was great. It was a great event. So thanks to everybody. And we'll do it again. Common Freeze here says, at least some on the left are starting to peel back the rotten onion. They still largely assume good faith from those in charge. If they keep going, they will discover how deep the lies and the corruption go, all the way to the core. I hope they wake up. I'm hopeful that this is like, oh, they literally lied to our face about Joe Biden. and his competency. So what else are they lying about? If they're going to lie about that, then basically the entire facade should crumble down. Are they going to make that connection? We'll see. Bruce Rice, what's up? Bruce, look at this, 20 membos. Oh my goodness, Bruce. Very generous of you. Thanks for doing this. Bringing in Pathfinder. Tammy's here. The Lady Kara. Shadow Axeman. What's up? Peter R. We got Mr. Null. The big guy's crackhead son is here. You know who that is. We got John M. A Burley Knoll. Mark G. Craig V. Gifted membos. We got Sheila L. MSM Rocket Softballs here. Ray B. Brian M. Aphrodisiac is here. Welcome. Zach on the Glass, Sean Daw, Patrick B, Crimson Decade, and others. Gifted membos, courtesy of Bruce Rice. 20 membos from our amazing membo, Bruce. Thanks for doing that, Bruce. Thanks for bringing them in. And welcome aboard, new friends. Hey, Trevelyn Gale says, happy birthday, Mama G. And thank you for giving America Rob in her times of need. Thank you. I agree, Mama. Thank you for that. I appreciate being birthed. And we're going to celebrate Mama's birth, because without Mama's birth, there's no Robbie birth. It's not going to happen. So thanks for that, Trevelyn Gale in the house. We're going to be celebrating Mama today. Hey, Tony Hay Munkets is bringing in 10 new membos. Look who's coming in. Thank you, Tony Hay. Ronnie Dowdy, Yosemite Sam is here. Marjorie Smith, Pyramid 7, Darren M. We have Ian Cooper, Keith C, Daryl R, Trisha B, and EB, gifted members, courtesy of Tony Hay Munkets. Hey, it's the Munkets. This one from B.H. Williams says, if you get a chance, watch a couple of movies today. Here are some suggestions. 1776, April Morning, for starters. My favorite song from 1776 is linked here. Very powerful song. Thank you, B.H. Williams, for the recommendation. Hey, Jana's here. Welcome aboard, Jana. Welcome aboard as the newest supporter in the house. Grab that membo-only content. Libby, what's up, Libby? Good to see you. Thanks for sending in a nice dono and being a membo on the YouTubes. What's up, Rick D says, okay, be honest, everyone. How much did the real good boy Donnie get spoiled? LOL. I don't know. He might have had some Trump chicken. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe he did. Maybe not. I don't know. He's a real good boy. He deserves it. Hey, Big Wiggle. Lindsey Graham is a Democrat operative playing the role of a Republican that the left fear mongers about. We know that the rhinos don't have the stomach to play hard like the left does. I think that is true. Lindsey Graham is a big bloviator. He talks and talks and talks, and we do get tired of it. But yeah, that's fair. But I did like what he had to say. I mean, I liked what he had to say at least. Oftentimes I don't like what he has to say. So at least he said something reasonable this time. Thanks, Big Wiggle. We got this one from the Rubos. Breaking. Donald Trump posted a July 4th post. Here's what it says. Thanks to the Rubos for grabbing this for us. From Trump. He says, happy 4th of July to all, including to our highly incapable president, who uses prosecutors to go after his political opponent, who choked like a dog during the debate, but tried to pretend it was international travel with only 12 days rest. And when that gig was up, he blamed it on a cold. Therefore, why would anyone say he's cognitively challenged? Also, respects to our potentially new Democratic challenger, Laughing Kamala Harris. She did poorly in the Democrat nomination process, starting out at number 2 and ending up defeated and dropping out, even before getting to Iowa. But that doesn't mean she's not a highly talented politician. Just ask her mentor, the great Willie Brown of San Francisco. Someone else that I have to compliment is deranged Biden prosecutor named Jack Smith, who has become a legend in his own mind for all of those cases he has lost. The corrupt prosecutors are working hard for Crooked Joe, but it will never be enough. Make America great again. This one came in from Sergeant GPS, says, fantastic meetup. It was great to meet up, everyone. Felt very at home there. Absolutely. Grateful that you and Alexis just went for it on putting it on together. Yeah, I know. It was just a weird idea. Just like, hey, what if we did this? Let's do it. Okay, fine. Well, awesome job by Zach and Chris. They were awesome helping out too. And thank you, Sergeant, for showing up, man, being a part of it. Happy Independence Day, everyone, and happy birthday to Mama G. Thank you, Sergeant. Happy Independence Day to you, my friend. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for bringing your friend out. It was awesome to meet you guys, and we're glad that Jeff was able to join us. It was just great. We had a great time, and thanks for saying that. It was a great time. Hey, one old guy's opinions says, who is they? Good question. Depends who you ask. Globalist rhinos and Democrats. And Jack Mack, oh my goodness, gifted 20 membos. And that's just amazing. We can see some of these that came in. Wow. Look who's here. JD Lamont. We got Audie Joe, Marshall H, Felicia K, Mark B, Squirrel F, Vincent M, Herbal Patriot. We got Mystique, Robin P, C. Warren, First Shot, Richard Gordon, Jeff, Ariel F, PK from AK, Drive for Your Life, Dark Messiah, Amanda W, all gifted membos courtesy of Jack Mack in the house. Jack, thanks for doing that, for bringing in 20 new membos. Amazing. So, my friends, thank you for sending those in. Very generous of you. Let's say hello to our friends on X before we wrap it up and go on over to locals to debrief on this beautiful Independence Day. Any amazing comments on X? Let's see who is joining us. We have shout outs to Jim. Jim says, happy birthday, Mama G. Says, it's make your mama's proud time. Thanks, Jim. Checker Jim says, happy birthday to Mama G. And says, hey, thanks for spending your Independence Day with us. You're the best. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for joining us on this Independence Day. I love spending time hanging out with you guys. It's a ton of fun. So I'm glad we get to hang together on the day. What's up? Hanley is over there, and Phil is over there. And some other comments over there on X. And so thanks for following us over there on X. But that, my friends, is going to be it for us on the day. We are going over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com to debrief for a little bit. We'd love to see you over there, and welcome aboard to our YouTube membos. We also want to thank our mods and our meme smiths for modding the fort down for us. Our friends K Bean in the house, Just Cause, Play and Hooky, Ronnie Cole, our friend Zach Nichols, Janek, Dog Digger, Economy Pilot, Donut Mind Me, Carrie B, and Zulu in the house. We also have Sleepy Dog Lee, Nathan, N810, Geegum Geegum, Glocky McLock, and Elliot, our Dockmaster, helping to keep this show right on track, and we're grateful for that. But my friends, we're going to leave it there. It's a beautiful Independence Day. We're going over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members-only after party. Plan is tomorrow. We're going to plan on a show, but it's probably going to be an early show again. Based on the news, I think most things are closed tomorrow. So probably an early show, probably same time as today. But I'll update the calendar at robertgovea.com if you want to keep tabs on that. Otherwise, set those notifications. But it's a beautiful Independence Day. I hope you're celebrating vigorously and in the real sense of the term, not Biden's sense of the term. Enjoying the time off and remembering that we do live in an incredible country. Even though we have a bunch of maniacs trying to destroy it, we at least have a written constitution and a nice set of principles upon which we can build meaningful, fruitful, free, and independent lives. And we're going to continue on that journey in securing that for all of us, our families, our friends, and our country. And so today is a beautiful Independence Day. We're going to leave it there. We're going to go celebrate America and Mama G and come on back here tomorrow to get into it again. And in order to do that, we're going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful Independence Day, my friends. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.